Alright guys, hello guys. Okay, so in today's video guys, I'm basically gonna be showing you guys how to look at gun stats in Phantom Forces, because this can be actually a pretty tricky thing if you're first starting out. And I know when I was first starting out, I tried to look at the stats and I was like, oh my god, I don't know anything. So yeah, we are trying to help some people out today. Hopefully it is helpful for you. It's going to be more of a beginner based video because I'm sure a lot of you already know how to do this, but all right, here we are. Anyways, also I do want to mention, it is actually worth saying that if you kind of just want to figure out if a gun's good or not, what you can do instead of just looking at the stats is, well, I would still recommend looking at the stats, but you can either just play with it and see if you like it and see if it's good, or you can also look up any just YouTube video on the gun and see if other people think it's good. Like, those two just work fine if you don't want to bother with the stats. But you know, if you do want to bother with the stats and you're that kind of person, then here we are. Okay, then here is the video. And yeah, I don't think anyone's done this video before, so I suppose I could be the first one to do it. Anyways, let's get into it. So a lot of the stats are kind of specific to certain types of guns, like autos, shotguns, and snipers. So let me try to make this as in-depth yet precise as possible. We'll see if we can do that. Okay, anyways, so for every gun, what you're gonna probably want to look at first is the damage and the fire rate, and also the damage range, which is pretty much this here. So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, but 33 to 20 basically means that the maximum damage is 33 per bullet and it drops down to 20 at long range. So if you want to look at what the ranges are for the damage, you can always look here on this graph, and it kind of shows you, like, it goes 33 damage all the way up to about, you know, it looks like 70 studs given the scaling here, and then it drops down to 20 at long range, which is about, I'd say, 120 studs. If you want to really look into it, you can go to the advanced stats and check out the damage range, and it'll tell you how far the damage actually goes. So obviously 70 to 120 means it does 33 damage all the way up to 70 studs and then drops down 20 at 120 studs. And yeah, that's helpful for finding out whether the gun is a 3-shot at a certain range or like a 4-shot or a 5-shot. You guys get the idea. If we want to do this real quickly for the AK-12, it's 20 damage at long range, so that means 20 damage per bullet times 5 bullets is 100, so it's a 5-shot at long range. The other thing that's actually important for the damage is these head and torso multipliers right over here in the advanced stats. So what that means is, let's say we have a 1.4 headshot multiplier. If we were to hit someone at close range in the head with this, it'll do 33 damage, and then multiply that by whatever the multiplier is. So if we had a headshot at 60 studs, it'll be 33 times 1.4, which is about 46 or something like that. So yeah, that can be actually pretty useful. Let me hop over to snipers real quick, and I will put up a formula in case you guys, let's take the AWP for example. I'll put up a formula for in case you guys want to figure out how far a gun one-shots given the ranges and the multipliers. So let's say we have the op with the 1.25 times torso multiplier. So if you hit a torso shot, the formula will tell you how far you can one-shot given the damage ranges with the AWP to the torso. Obviously, I'll put up the number right here with the math, but in case you guys are wondering like what a one-shot range is or a 3-shot range is, you can always use that formula. But yeah, and then like I said, the fire rate is also very important for any gun really. As you can see here, there's 3 values, basically one for each firing mode. So it does 700 rounds per minute for the auto firing mode, 1000 for burst, and then 700 for semi-auto. Pretty important if you ask me, especially for an auto. Actually, for any gun really, the fire rate is definitely important. I would say that 700 is pretty decent for an assault rifle. And then yeah, I guess it shows you the fire modes down here in case you're also wondering. If you don't know how to switch fire modes, it's just press V when you're spawned in. And yeah, ammo capacity also pretty important. I guess what this 30 over 120 means is it has 30 bullets in the mag and then 120 extra bullets reserve. I guess the accuracies, like the hip accuracy, sight accuracy, and just regular accuracy they're not really that important. Like these numbers are not important whatsoever. Like I guess these numbers right here where it says 32, they basically assess everything like mathematical about the recoil and then just give it a rating out of 100. So 32 will be like 32 out of 100. And I guess the accuracy just means how much recoil it has. So I guess 32 isn't bad, but it's like, you know what, like a better way to assess the recoil, just spawn in and then shoot the gun and see how much recoil do we have here. As you can see, if we just shoot it without moving, quite a lot of vertical recoil, not too much horizontal. Yeah, that's just honestly a better way to do it if you're looking at the recoil. Like it's just more intuitive and just easier to conceptualize, I guess. So yeah, really don't pay attention to those accuracy stats. I don't think they really help. Penetration depth, very actually important. So the 1 stud basically means I guess it can shoot through walls up to 1 studs. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. I feel like that's a little bit off, but the more the penetration depth, the more you can shoot through walls. Suppression basically means how much screen shake you will deal when you shoot the gun near someone. So the more suppression you have, the more suppressed enemies bonuses you're gonna get, which can be pretty helpful for gaining XP and stuff like that. So like a gun like the L86, good penetration, can shoot through walls pretty well, and 1.5 suppression, which is actually really good for an auto, so you get a lot of suppressed enemies with this gun. And yeah, also a quick thing worth mentioning, let's say we put on an attachment. So let's put on this stubby grip. Some of the numbers have changed to yellow, so basically if it's yellow, it means it's changed from its original value to something different because of an attachment. So that can be kind of helpful for like seeing what an attachment does specifically. Back to the weapon ballistics, this muzzle velocity, it's not really important for autos or shotguns, but for snipers it is very important. So the AWP has 2500, so it's a little bit less than a gun like the intervention maybe. And yeah, that basically means how fast the bullet is going when it leaves the gun. So the faster it's going, or the more muzzle velocity it has, the less the bullet drop and the less the bullet travel time. So that's actually really important for snipers, because you know, the higher the muzzle velocity, like I said, the less bullet drop, and the less you'll actually have to aim in front of someone as they're moving at long range. So yeah, that's actually really important. I don't really think anything else here is too important for any of the guns, except let me go over to the shotguns real quick. So under the accuracy category, you'll see this is not a shotgun, this is an AK-12. So under the accuracy category, you'll see the hip choke and aim choke statistics, and basically what those tell you is how much the gun spread is, or how much the pellet spread is. So if it has more hip choke, it means the spread's going to be higher. And if you don't know how a shotgun works, basically it shoots a shell which contains a certain amount of pellets, and you can see how many pellets over here in the damage. So obviously it says 32 times 8, which means it does 32 damage per pellet. But yeah, so back to the hip choke and aim choke. Like I said, the more choke, the more spread it's going to have. So if we spawn in, basically the spread is pretty much the randomness of where the pellets go. And yeah, I guess that's pretty self-explanatory. So I think that's pretty much all the advanced stats that I would actually look at. Most of it is in the weapon ballistics. Like, this is the main thing that you're actually going to want to look at. Everything else is kind of like, you know, just really supplementary at most. I guess the reload time can be a little bit important. So, you know, for a gun like let's go AK-12 again, 2.8 seconds for the reload time, which means if you have at least one bullet in the mag, that's how fast it'll take to reload. And then if you have no bullets in the mag, it'll take 3.8 seconds, which is the empty reload time. Yeah, honestly, there's nothing else too much to look at least in my opinion. A lot of the other stuff is kind of related to handling, and I guess handling is very just easier to tell when you're actually just using the gun, sort of similar to the recoil as I said earlier. But yeah, and then I guess that's it. Like that's all I got for you guys, and that's pretty much the easiest and I would say honestly most effective way to look at the gun stats for any certain gun. Like I said, if you just want to know if a gun's good or not, it might not be worth looking at the stats, because it can be hard to judge whether a gun is good or not depending on the stats. But you know, if you want to just play with it or just look up a video on it and see if it's good, that can always just be a great option. But if you do want to look at the stats in a little bit more depth, then I mean, I guess that's what the video is for. So yeah, like I said, hopefully this was helpful, and I really don't know if it was, but I really am hoping it was. So yeah, I don't know, if you found this helpful, maybe leave a like, who knows. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.